Okay guys, welcome along to our short video. I've made a couple of wee videos just playing around with paints and stuff. I have a piece of log on the lathe here, and this is a soundboard, by the way, in case you're wondering. I'm just going to bring it down to the round and uh, narrow at the bottom, and we're going to drill some holes in it to make a feature and cut a wee bit from the top of it, and we're going to put some copper wire in like the way you would do shoelaces up. So we're going to be a wee bit of lace work using copper wire. So this is just a wee quick video, and I didn't intend to make a video with this. I was just let the recording go, and I didn't bother with the sound. Okay, I'm back. So we're just removing some of the bark here, and we're going to turn it around, and as I said, I'm going to make it narrow at one end. Okay, think that's down to the round now. So I'm just going to tidy the ends up here and put a tenon on each end in case I have to use both of them. Better have two tenons than one. So just training up the ends. The log wasn't cut very straight, it was cut on the bandsaw. I just do it through to cut the length I needed. Okay, that's it in the chuck, and just brought the tailstock up for a wee bit of support. Just checking it's running through. Sometimes there can be a wee slight difference between centers. It shouldn't be that much, but usually you do find a wee bit time the jaws clamp down on the timber. I would squish it a wee bit and maybe pull it off to one side. So yeah, that's just a wee thing to look out for. So I'm putting the Jacob's chuck into the to the tailstock. Could get that out there. So I've removed some of the timber. Now I can advance the Jacob's chuck in a wee bit further into the hole. As you can see, I'm not going to get much further than that, so I'm going to try one of these R Forstner bits into the extension piece, which will allow me to get much deeper. Okay, I have put you can see it going into the piece here, the extension piece into my Jacob's chuck, and managed to get the grub screws on the extension to tighten around the actual Forstner bit. They're not actually the right size, but they will do. It's not ideal for that, but I managed to get it tightened, and it's laying off to one side, but it doesn't really matter. I will be tidying it up anyway with a tool later on, so you can see me bringing it back out again to remove the shavings from the piece. Okay, I forgot I bought this tool. I bought it a wee while ago, Simon Hope, wee carbide cutter. I also bought the hollowing system from Simon Hope as well. You'll be seeing that coming up fairly soon in a couple of videos. I haven't done much following with it. It's still in the drawer. But I forgot I had bought this And this is exactly the right tool for this job. These wee cutters cut amazingly on end grain. They can remove some timber. And with this big tool here, it's quite long and it's quite thick, the bar itself, and it's a flat bar. Uh, I have a couple of other carbides and they're all round bars, and every time you put it in with a cutter, you know, the wee round cutter on it, it wants to pull it over on its side. This here tool here is already set on the angle, so all you have to do is feed it back and forth and it'll remove the timber for you, which is a great help. Okay, here I'm just putting the revolving center back in the tailstock, and of this wee adapter I made, and it's going to hold the top of the piece and allow me to sand it. You'll see there on the piece there's two pencil marks. The bottom one nearest the chuck is the depth of mat, and I'm just putting a wee bit of kitchen towel in with this, just to snug that up a wee bit. I don't want timber rubbing on timber because it would it's not grabbing it right. It will burn a friction mark on the inside. So I'm not too worried about it. It's just I think it works a wee bit better with a bit of paper around it, and it gives you a wee more bit of steadiness. So I'm going to sand this in a wee second and just tidying up the piece with the round nose scraper here, and then we'll get the sanding done. And okay, we're just coming to the end of the sanding here, just using a bit of sandpaper and going with the grain up and down the piece. Take any wee last lines I can see. Not that it matters that much because we're going to be painting this black, and then we're going to put use some juice onions on it with the help of the airbrush. Oh, I finished the sanding. I've just applied some masking tape to the piece, and I'm just drawing a few circles where I think I should drill holes, just to give me a visual effect. Sometimes it's just easier to drill a hole and then see what it looks. So I have a number of variable sizes here. That box, which you see, goes from 10 up to 35, but I have a hole in it set more over and on the cupboard behind me, which I'm going to get a couple of the smaller ones. I think it starts at 5, 10, 15, 20, goes up in 5 mil at a time. So I'm going to start with the smallest size. Okay, we're going to drill the first hole here. Oh, forgot to lock. Hey, it's stuck up. So I'm not going to show you all the holes. We'll drill this one and another one, and we'll skip on through this because this is quite a long video, and I'm trying to break it up into smaller pieces to give you sort of an idea of the process I went through to get to where I am. There's not a lot to drilling holes. You just drill a hole and that's it. Just be careful when you're drilling through a piece like this, because you can put a wee bit of force on it and you can end up turning the whole inside of your piece out. Normally in the past what I've done was before hollowing the piece out, I've drilled the holes to a certain depth, and that means when you hollow the inside out you get a nice clean finished edge, you know, because the holes are already drilled. The downside to that is as you go up the piece and the holes get bigger, there's a more of a chance of catching one of the holes with a tool, and next thing it goes bang and you have to start again. So well, just that's where you are. You can see these are Forstner bits and are not as good as the ones in the wee box. They're a different make and a different style altogether. These take a wee bit more force to get them to cut. They're probably blunt if I never use them. So there's the first 3 holes. So we're just going to stagger these holes the whole way up. Okay, you're going to see me having a bit of a problem here with this one. It moved before it could got a good grip because of the cylinder shape of the piece. You see there, once it slips, you can't do much about it. This is where design opportunity arose. Ended up, it's not a circle, it's all torn out, and there's bits everywhere, and it's not a circle at all. So what I decided to do was cut that wee bit right from the top of the rim down into the circle and make it a feature. Sometimes these things happen and you just have to just change your design slightly according to what you've done. So I'm just removing the tape here, and I'll just get a wee saw and we'll cut that then in through the circle and make it a feature. Okay, you see I've already sawn the wee bit out, and it's not the best of cuts, so I'm going to use I bought a wee set of these, but I could only lay my hands on 2 of them. One's about 15mm in diameter and the other one's about 35. I'm just going to lock the headstock in place. I don't want to slip using this wee thing. If it gets a grabbing on something, it'll tear holes out of it. It's quite aggressive wee bear on it, but it works well. So I'm just loosening the chuck now to turn my piece round to designated position for me to, because of the way the headstock locks, it took it way past the point that I needed. So we're just removing some of that timber there, just to tidy it up a wee bit, and then we'll use the wee sanding wheel to just tidy it up. Okay, here I'm using the wee sanding wheel just to get down as far as I can with it, tidy the inside of that cutting operation that was performed. I think that's the biggest one I have, but there's a couple of other sizes below that, and I don't know what they are. I've only an R1 there, it's a smaller one. So yeah, I'm going to spray some black albanizing lacquer down the inside of it. You can see I'm getting them all over my hands. I think it was an issue to keep the paint in the piece and not coming out the holes and all over me, you know. That's why I done that. Okay, we're applying some albanizing lacquer to the outside now, and give it a nice coat, and hopefully we didn't miss any parts. Okay, applying some juice onions or just some paint to the piece, and I'm using my airbrush to move the paint around. Just the air, there's nothing in the paintbrush. I'm using the paintbrush to apply the paint, and you can see it here. I'm just applying a daub of the paint, and then I use the airbrush to maneuver it and just push it around. I tend to just keep pushing it until it stops moving. It is a wee bit on the thick side because I run out of the flow medium. So the white bits you can see tend to give it a wee bit of definition, you know, it makes it stand out a wee bit more. Most of it dries away and you're left, you can see a sort of a pattern it gives you, the effect it gives you. I quite like it because it's not just plain paint. You have these wee like designs with the airbrush blowing the paint, and then it stops and leaves that wee mark. So I quite like that. So I'm not gonna bore you all with this. I'm just gonna show you a wee bit more, and we'll move on to probably the next stage. We're getting very close to the end of the video anyway, and you can just say I just carry on here, applying the paint, use the airbrush to move it around. I left this overnight to dry, and then I give it a couple of coats of lacquer just to seal it all in. Okay, we're just applying some lacquer. I have left that overnight to sit and dry. I'm just giving it a good spray of lacquer from my local hardware store. I think it's just as good as the chestnut product, and this being a lot cheaper, it's easy on the pocket. So I can justify it. So you can see it gives it a nice glossy finish, and we'll need to leave that to dry. Okay, I'm drilling a few holes along the rim of the edge here, where I'm going to insert the copper wire. Not much to see about drilling holes, just 5 or 6 holes off each side, and then I'm going to lace the copper wire like you would do with a shoe. So that's one side done. Just going to do the other side, being careful not to drill too close to the edge, or the wood will just pull out with the copper wire. So that's those drilled. Okay, we're back, and we're going to have a much longer piece of copper wire this time, and we're just going to thread it through the holes, and lace it up, and I thought I would do this because I had to cut that wee bit out of it, because we had that mishap with the Forster bit. So I thought that was an easy way to get out of it. We design opportunity arose, and it's something different. You don't see very often. So just repositioning all the pieces so they look a wee bit straight and stuff, and that'll be that done. Okay, I've just put that wee piece of timber in the chuck to hold it at the top while I remove the foot, and just to snug it up and hold it there in position. I have a center point in the bottom to center it up with, so it's quite easy to remove most of this timber. And we'll change cameras in a wee second and show you what we're doing. So it turns quite well, and it seems fairly safe enough. Just checking it there, so it was. So we're going to use the 1/4 inch spindle gouge, a wee fingernail grind on it. Let me get it right into it, and just take your time. And we want to reduce the timber down to a wee nub, and then there we are. We're just going to move the camera now. I like to see what I'm doing, see all the mistakes and stuff I make. So we're just removing the timber. Just take your time here, because you're putting force towards the headstock here. What you don't want to do, because you could end up pushing this and crack the top of this. That's only holding it just about. So let me do a wee bit of work on the bottom here. So just take it down gradually, and once it's down to a certain size, you can either just take it down to a wee small nub and break it off, or you can take it down till it falls off and then sand the rest of it. So we're near there. We're getting it down right and well here. No mishaps yet. Yeah, we're almost there. Just taking it down to a point, and then it'll be done and dusted. Okay, I've got the piece right down, sanded the wee bit that was left off, and just applied some sand and sealer to the bottom. I'm just checking the top of it for any signs of any cracking where force was put on it from the tailstock. It all looks okay. Okay, there you are, guys. That's the finished piece. I will put a couple of wee photographs up with it as well. I have an hour piece, and the wee video was only 7 minutes long. It was a wee piece I had already turned previously a wee while back, and I didn't like the pattern on it, so I turned it off and done an hour one. And you'll see this is Joe Sonia's paints again, and this time I put a stencil on it, and with a design. I coloured it gold, and the paint is green, and it was just to see if it worked. I used my laser to cut the stencil out. I downloaded it off the internet and resized it and positioned it on the piece, and it cut out very well actually. So I will be doing that again with the stencils. I'll make my own stencils. Just get a picture and whatever you want, and the laser will cut the holes. So that's that. So I'll put a couple of wee photographs up of the finished piece